I'm about to tell you something that will shake America. The Epstein documents are tearing down governments. Slovakia's national security advisor resigned just hours after his name was revealed. Trump received $500 million from the Abu Dhabi royal family, and he handed over America's most classified semiconductor technology. Trump's name appears more than 5,000 times in the Epstein documents, and Republican leaders are scrambling to bury another 20 to 50 million pages. While the world is watching the Epstein revelations destroy governments, Trump has quietly sold top-secret American technology to foreign royals who have paid his family $500 million. This is treason and pedophilia disguised as a $500 million bribe unfolding right before our eyes while America sleeps. Subscribe now. I'm about to expose things they don't want you to hear. Trump appears over 5,000 times in the Epstein documents, not casual mentions, not peripheral references, 5,000 detailed entries describing activities so grotesque that even hardened Republicans can't spin them, so they're burying them instead. Let me put that in perspective. Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book had 1,971 names total. Trump appears in the detailed investigative files 5,000 times. That's not coincidence. That's not being friendly acquaintances at parties. That's documentation of a relationship so extensive it required thousands of pages to record. And the global response? International leaders are resigning immediately after being named in Epstein files. Slovakia's national security advisor quit his position within hours of documents revealing his connections. European Parliament members are stepping down, careers ending overnight because association with Epstein is disqualifying. But in America, silence, cover-up, active protection of the implicated. House Speaker Mike Johnson went on Fox News and called the Epstein allegations against Trump unreliable and claimed they were already investigated with no evidence of crimes. That's not spin. That's a calculated lie. The files weren't investigated and cleared. They were sealed by Trump's own Justice Department in 2019 to protect him. Trump's Attorney General William Barr, whose father gave Epstein his first job teaching at an elite school, despite Epstein having no college degree, personally intervened to bury the investigation. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who was Trump's personal defense lawyer 6 months ago and is now running the Justice Department, went even further.
The American people need to understand that it isn't a crime to party with Mr. Epstein. It isn't a crime.
Think about that corruption. Trump's personal lawyer is now Deputy AG, and his job is declaring evidence against Trump untrustworthy while refusing to release that evidence so Americans can judge for themselves. And here's where this becomes a full-scale cover-up. Multiple sources confirm the administration is actively hiding 20 to 50 million additional pages of Epstein-related documents, not thousands, tens of millions of pages that could expose the full scope of Trump's decades-long relationship with a convicted child sex trafficker. Former federal prosecutor Glenn Kirshner said, "When someone's name appears 5,000 times in documents about child sex trafficking, and the government's response is to hide 50 million more pages and declare the evidence untrustworthy, that's not protecting national security, that's protecting child predators in positions of power." If the Epstein files prove Trump's innocence, like he claims, why is his administration hiding 50 million pages? Why are international leaders resigning over these files while Trump uses the Justice Department to bury them? 4 days before Trump's inauguration, January 16, 2025, an Abu Dhabi royal family member signed a deal to invest $500 million to purchase 49% ownership of Trump family cryptocurrency company World Liberty Financial 4 days before he became president. $500 million flowing directly into accounts controlled by the Trump family. Then Trump was sworn in on January 20th, and within 72 hours of taking the oath of office, his administration approved giving the United Arab Emirates access to America's most advanced and classified semiconductor technology so sensitive it's explicitly banned from export to China, Russia, Iran, and most nations on Earth. This is quid pro quo corruption so blatant that Trump didn't even attempt to hide the timeline. Foreign government pays Trump family $500 million. Trump gives them classified military technology. 4 days later, it's a transaction. It's treason with a receipt and a public ledger. Let me be crystal clear about what semiconductor technology means. These aren't consumer computer chips. This is weapons-grade technology used in advanced military systems, missile guidance, fighter jets, and autonomous weapons platforms. This is technology the United States has spent decades keeping out of adversary hands because it could be reverse engineered and used against American forces. And Trump sold access to it for $500 million paid to his family company. Former government ethics chief Walter Shaub stated, "This is the most clear-cut case of corruption in American presidential history." A foreign government paid the president's family $500 million, then immediately within the same week received classified military technology that's banned for export. This is literally the textbook definition of selling out America for personal profit. The Abu Dhabi deal isn't even unique. It's part of a pattern. Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund invested $2 billion in Jared Kushner's private equity firm while Kushner was still senior advisor. Qatar invested $1 billion in Kushner family real estate to bail out their failing 666 Fifth Avenue property. China granted Ivanka Trump dozens of trademark approvals while she worked in the White House. Turkey helped bail out Trump Towers Istanbul while Trump blocked sanctions. This isn't business. This is a criminal enterprise using the presidency as a vehicle for extracting payments from foreign governments in exchange for policy favors, classified access, and American strategic interests. And when confronted with the $500 million Abu Dhabi semiconductor scandal, what did Deputy AG Todd Blanche say? He engaged in pure whataboutism. The Biden family also had business dealings. That's not a defense. That's an admission. Biden's son had a laptop and some foreign business connections while Biden was not president. Trump is currently president while his family is currently collecting $500 million from foreign governments, and Trump is currently giving those governments classified weapons technology. These situations are not comparable. One is a former VP's son doing business. The other is a sitting president committing treason. Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution defines treason as adhering to America's enemies, giving them aid and comfort. Giving classified military technology to foreign governments in direct exchange for payments to your family is textbook treason. Trump sold America's most advanced military secrets for $500 million. His family got paid, UAE got weapons, technology, America got betrayed. If that's not treason, what is? A federal judge ordered ICE to release a 5-year-old boy named Liam and his father from a Texas detention facility where conditions were so appalling they violated constitutional protections against cruel and unusual punishment. The judge ordered them released and returned to their home in Minneapolis. They came home, and federal agents turned their neighborhood into a war zone. Within hours of their return, federal agents militarized a public park where community members had gathered peacefully to welcome them home. Video footage shows agents in full tactical gear deploying chemical irritants against civilians who were observing from a distance. Families with children, elderly residents, people exercising their First Amendment right to assemble. Federal agents sprayed them with chemicals and advanced through the park like an occupying military force. This wasn't immigration enforcement. Liam and his father were released by court order. They were legally free. The people in the park weren't hiding anyone or obstructing. They were witnessing, and Trump's regime considers witnessing to be a threat requiring chemical weapons. Video shows mothers grabbing their children and running as agents advance. You can hear kids crying. You can see elderly people stumbling away from the chemical clouds. This is a children's playground being turned into a militarized combat zone by federal agents assaulting American citizens. House Speaker Mike Johnson defended this atrocity. When Democrats demanded that ICE obtain judicial warrants before conducting raids, a constitutional requirement under the Fourth Amendment, Johnson called it adding another layer of bureaucracy that will slow down immigration. Enforcement. Read that again. Requiring constitutional warrants before federal agents can assault American citizens in public parks is bureaucracy, according to the Speaker of the House. The Fourth Amendment isn't bureaucracy. It's the Bill of Rights. It's the foundation of American liberty. It exists specifically to prevent exactly what happened in Minneapolis government agents using force against citizens without judicial oversight. But to Trump's authoritarian regime, constitutional rights are bureaucratic obstacles to their crackdown on anyone they deem undesirable. Federal agents just gassed American families, including children, in a public park for the crime of witnessing, and the House Speaker called constitutional protections bureaucracy. At what point do you recognize this as fascism? White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stood at the podium and announced that inflation had dropped to 1.4% under Trump's economic leadership. That's not a mistake. That's not misspeaking. That's a fabricated lie. The actual core consumer price index, CPI inflation rate, the measure economists use because it strips out volatile food and energy prices, is 3.3% and rising, not falling. Leavitt didn't confuse metrics. She didn't misread a chart. She invented a number 240% lower than reality to deceive Americans about the economy collapsing under Trump's chaotic policies. This is the exact same tactic the Soviet Union used. When economic reality contradicted the regime's propaganda, Soviet officials simply fabricated statistics and published them as fact. They lied about crop yields during famines. They lied about industrial output during economic collapse. They created an alternate reality through pure dishonesty. And now Trump's White House is doing the same thing, inventing economic data because the truth makes them look incompetent. Economist Paul Krugman wrote, "When a government fabricates basic economic indicators by nearly 250%, you're no longer in a democracy with policy disagreements. You're in an authoritarian regime where the state invents reality and punishes anyone who contradicts the official lies." And this isn't Leavitt going rogue. This is official White House policy. She was reading from prepared remarks. This was approved. This was the administration's coordinated message. Lie about inflation and hope Americans don't check. But here's why this matters beyond just dishonesty. Economic policy depends on accurate data. The Federal Reserve sets interest rates based on inflation. Businesses make hiring decisions based on economic indicators. Families plan their budgets based on cost of living projections. When the government lies about inflation by 240%, every economic decision based on that lie becomes flawed. The Fed might keep rates too high or too low. Businesses might hire or fire at the wrong time. Families might make financial decisions that destroy them. Lying about inflation isn't just dishonest, it's economic sabotage. When your government fabricates economic data by 240%, what else are they lying about? Can you trust anything they say about jobs, GDP, unemployment, anything? This isn't a presidency. This is a criminal enterprise that seized control of the federal government. Trump is using the Justice Department to bury evidence of child sex trafficking. He's selling classified military technology to foreign governments for personal profit. He's deploying federal agents to chemically assault American citizens. He's fabricating economic data to deceive the public about his catastrophic failures. And congressional Republicans are protecting him because they're complicit accomplices in every crime. Former CIA Director John Brennan stated, "When a president's name appears 5,000 times in pedophile trafficking documents while simultaneously selling classified weapons technology to foreign governments for $500 million payments to his family, you're not dealing with policy differences. You're dealing with organized crime that has captured the presidency. This is the mafia with nuclear launch codes. This is a crime family that controls the FBI, the military, and the Justice Department. And every Republican who stays silent, every senator who doesn't demand impeachment, every representative who doesn't call for investigation, every official who keeps defending the indefensible is an accomplice to treason. This is organized crime operating as government. This is treason wrapped in a flag. This is America being sold piece by piece while Republicans count their bribes and Democrats write strongly worded letters. At what point do you stop calling this politics and start calling it what it is, a criminal coup? Subscribe if you refuse to let them bury the Epstein files and normalize treason as foreign policy. Drop a green heart if you believe selling America for $500 million is treason punishable under Article 3. See you next time.